weak point touching day and I'm a little bit tired. So if I want to make this weak point touching productive, I need to figure out how the hell to wake myself up. So what better way to do that than talk about something topical that kind of pisses me off? Because the lamest thing a powerlifting coach can do is complain about how their coaching is getting in the way of their own training. Because it's like, yeah, I'm tired. Long ass freaking work day, but what kind of example am I setting to my clients who work real freaking jobs if I pussyfoot around training because I feel like I need a nap? And that doesn't mean I'm gonna overshoot like an asshole, but you're damn well sure that we're gonna lock in and do something at least kind of cool. And we're running more cambered bar reps for the first movement again, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, I freaking love this bar on the pec. And this is week one of a new wave for me. So the goal today isn't to beat last week in loading, it's to set myself up to beat last week's loading by a long shot 2 weeks from now. So we're putting 205 on the bar. And while we watch the first work set,
get yourself around a group of lifters who give as much of a shit about training as you do. I'm inviting you to join Team Activated, a community where you will find all of the support, education, and mentorship necessary to reach the highest levels that you can in this sport.
And I think like my big goal to tell me I've done a really freaking good job with the pec rehab is if I can get the cambered bar to actually touch. Okay, set number 2, not gonna run another ad for this one, but seriously, if you give a shit about your training, think about signing up because I like helping people figure this shit out and hit PRs. Yeah, that's freaking fun. So last wave ran the ultra close grip 4 board. This wave, we're gonna run the 5 board hole, which is probably gonna look a little bit stupider, but experience tells me it is what I need to be doing. To be clear, this is still not a product endorsement for bench blocks. Yeah, that feels stupid. But narrow grip, high board makes it really freaking hard on my ability to like pull my humerus across all the way to the top, which is one of the most difficult things that I've had to get back from the pec surgery. So this guy touches it really well, and I don't give a shit how dumb it looks. And goal for today is a crispy 3 sets of 5, so figure we'll go 3 by 5 to set up the coming weeks. And to be clear, this still feels very sketchy on the shoulder pec, but that's why we're doing it. And I'm looking for a little bit more aggressive punch through on set 2. And I'm certain at this point that This guy is what's giving me a lot more of that oof to finish my real bench. And now we're gonna pan the camera over so we can piss off everyone on Instagram that used to bench 315 in high school. Because it's like, yeah, this seat angle isn't a true overhead, but I also don't give a shit with what I'm trying to accomplish. And because this is a new wave, we're gonna change things up a little bit this week. Because last week we made it hard with loading. This week we're making it hard with reps. But that doesn't mean we're gonna skimp out in the loading department. And I think with how that one felt, we're gonna go for a couple AMRAPs with 225. And I think the funniest part about posting those on Instagram and then having all the dorks get butthurt about the pad angle is like, I want to be pissed at them, and then I click on their profile and I realize why they think the things they do. Because it's like, with what I'm trying to do here, I don't give a shit about building a true overhead. I give a shit about getting carryover back to my bench, and having the pad at the slight incline angle means that my shoulder range of motion and thoracic mobility aren't in the way of me being able to work my delts and triceps, and I don't really need that much shoulder mobility to be able to bench press. Obviously, I still am trying to get some more of that back after the surgery, but this lets me get the most bang for my buck in terms of actually building, pressing muscles for what I need them to do. And I don't know, might as well call this piss off the Instagram commenters day, because we're running some decline rolling extensions again. And we're gonna attempt to keep them on the less shitty side. Because it's like, if I got JMs on my Thursday session, I don't need to absolutely murder my elbows both days. And like, the nice thing about the rollings is that you can go a little bit lighter and still make them hard as shit. They're just hard in a different way than doing them heavy and sloppy. And the only thing I'm really not okay with as far as training these goes is like, if you're doing them light and you're still like slopping around like an asshole, quit wasting your time. Once again, let's not be too much of an asshole. I already did one set here because I wasn't sure if it would work, but I was thinking like, could I just sit on this guy, lean back against the thigh pad, and not need to bring the bench over? And the answer is a resounding yes. Angle isn't quite as gnarly, but I think like the laziness saving, it's a good trade-off. Plus we can just really control and dig into the eccentric and make it juicy anyways. And as I was alluding to on the last vlog, I'm gonna start touching on both ends of the pectoral flying strength curve, because like, dumbbells really freaking gross and heavy in the bottom. This thing, easy peasy down low, but really freaking gross and heavy at the top. So we'll build them both up and hopefully get really strong through the whole range of my pectoralis major functionality. I did 2 sets there. I just didn't film 2 sets because I figured it would be boring. And we're going to run more of the same for a front delt with scat plane, incline front raise. On a little bit steeper incline this week because the other benches are taken, but I'm okay with this. This bench is actually really nice.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. Probably could have grabbed a heavier dumbbell. Just don't have to do so many reps next one. Yeah, I try to minimize. And I got my hand kind of on the pec to almost like feel and tell if it is working. And like it's touching a little bit, but trying to manage and really dig into the fronty.
Yeah.
And I think like with where this one got reattached, it's almost hard to not have it take over because it's the leverage is lower on the humerus.
Yeah.
But whatever, we'll work with it. 30 was the next heaviest available dumbbell, so hopefully I get more than 3 reps. But I guess it's like, you know what the kids say, mechanical tension or something. Yeah, that got hard quick. And I think like my biggest cue for making this work and not just taking a ton of pack is like trying to reach out away from my body as I go, because if I'm reaching out and away, the pack is going to be like having to get longer as I protract. It's going to make the leverages really freaking shitty for it to contribute to raising that humerus up. And yeah, this is so dirty on that front delt. Holy. Yeah. And going with the classic Seth Monday A raises supersetted with T raises to touch the rears and the sides. That was so freaking awkward just to do like 40 reps there to burn out on the A's before I could say that I was doing T raises. And yeah, I have been running those for a while now, but they feel really good, and in my check-in photos can definitely see the delts are coming up, so no reason to change stuff if it's working. And another reason why I like this guy so much is that this is pretty much exactly how I want my rear delts to work during a bench press. So working them the way that I want them to work during a bench press makes them feel like they're really working well during bench press or something. And then going here for the superset, once the A's are burnt out, it just feels juicy, and I like feeling juicy. And we're going to get into some of the GHR or reacher curls now. And plan is to run the 45 as kind of a work-ish set, warm-up-ish set, and then go up for something a little bit heavier. And I got the 55 out, which is, I think, the heaviest I've ever strict curled ever. So let's dig in. Hopefully this isn't too embarrassing. Okay, I guess we got a single on righty and a single on lefty. I guess we're going back to 50 because 10 pounds is too big of a jump. Okay, 50. As long as we get more than one, it's successful. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna call that a RP10. And like, we got the mechanical tension with the preachers, so now we'll get some stretchy stretch and pumpy pump, but still work hard on the inclines. I'm a little burnt out from the preachers, I guess. And like, we've been really excited with bigger ab work lately, but I think with how the brace felt on Saturday and how the hips felt afterwards, definitely want to touch these a little bit more often for this little bit, just to make sure the hip flexors, hip roll glide that we need to get hip flexion is doing its thing, so we can feel as good as possible into the meat of this meat prep. So Sunday felt a little bit smashed going in, and it went pretty darn terrible on the squats at least. Today felt pretty darn smashed going in, and it went really freaking well. I think like the biggest difference between Sunday and today mentally is that Sunday I was like in denial that I felt like shit and really didn't want to admit it and didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to acknowledge it, and I just ended up making choices that were not aligned with how I felt, which led to a worser outcome on the main movement than I could have. Whereas today, like, I knew that I was a little bit under the weather. I knew that I was coming in a little bit sleepy, and knowing that, I was able to like set myself up to make good choices, then be able to elevate and have one of the better weak point hypertrophy, whatever the hell we want to call it, Monday upper body sessions that I've had in a very long while. And I think that like the biggest thing that I'm trying to hammer in, like both on YouTube and in Team Activated, is the necessity of self-awareness in regards to how you feel on a given day, because you can write out the perfect program, perfect plan, perfect whatever, and if you have like atrocious sleep, if you have a day from hell at work, if you have whatever screw off in your day and get in the way of how you feel in training, like your perfect plan might not be so perfect anymore. And that's when it becomes important to be able to recognize how you feel and then be able to make appropriate choices around that, so you can bring it and can do something and can make it productive. And like Sunday, we salvaged a session pretty good after squats and made it at least decent afterwards, but I would have rather had a day like today where we just made the whole thing work for us. And if you want help with figuring out how to navigate your own training and developing the thought processes around self-awareness that will lead to better outcomes, hit that link below and sign up for Team Activated, because the whole goal of it is to give lifters the tools necessary to be able to coach and program for themselves. And I'm trying to give coaches the tools so they can better coach and program for their own clients, so that everyone just gets better.